Salutations viewers, it's Avery, and I felt this was very important to get out right now. Ray Rice was just indefinitely suspended from the NFL for the domestic abuse case after receiving a 2-day non-pay suspension beforehand. And this makes me very upset because this video was obtainable from the very beginning, and the NFL was excusing it, saying, oh, we haven't seen it. So the fact that they put this off is upsetting. I've seen marijuana cases get longer suspension than this, and this is beating another human being unconscious in an elevator, knocking her out with a single punch, and dragging her out the elevator. How is smoking weed worse than beating another human being? I don't understand that. I don't see how it's a lesser crime to beat your fiancé. And, you know, it's upsetting. It's upsetting. And I need people to know that abusive relationships are never okay. And it's never okay to make fun of them. It's never okay to blame the victim for not leaving them, for staying in them, for letting it get that far. Because there is a lot more to abusive relationships than people think. It is not your partner getting suddenly very angry and beating you. It is methodical. It is causing paranoia. It is putting this idea that your abusive partner owns you, and that's not okay. 60% of abuse victims are female, and 40% of abuse victims are male. 40% of abuse victims that are male have a stigma against them. If they go to the police, oftentimes there will be a, are you sure your wife is the first one to throw the punch and not you? Are you sure you're not turning the blame around? Because there is this idea that only females can be abused when that is not true. And it needs to stop. It does. Abusive relationships are complex in how people don't leave them. And there's people blaming Rihanna for not leaving Chris Brown. There are people blaming Janae for not leaving Ray Rice. And that's not okay, because for an abuse victim there is fear of being stalked, of being punished. There is this kind of a syndrome where they still feel in love because this is the person they did fall in love with, and they don't believe that they could do such a thing to them. There is also the belief that abuse is normal, and sometimes people convince themselves that it's just anger and it's okay because they do love them in the end. There's so many factors that keep people in the relationship, and people need to know these factors, and they need to educate themselves in domestic abuse relationships. I have an article that does answer the question, why do people stay in abusive relationships, and I'll leave that in the description. It's very important that you read it. If you don't know about domestic abuse, you know how they function. So, I felt it was very important to make this. I know that my videos have, there's been kind of grim lately. I have happier videos coming, if you guys are avid watchers of my channel. But it's sad that domestic abuse is not getting the light it needs, and I'm hoping that although this event is terrible, it'll shine more light on domestic abuse, and that 40% are male victims, and they don't have, there's a stigma against it. There's a belief that men can't be abused, and that should stop. But domestic abuse in general should stop. It does need to be treated. People need to be better educated about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me, and please do read the article. I will see you guys next time. Thank you.